Time for favorite 11 after 4+ hours of.
Oh my gosh, yeah, let's do it.
Now, I try to tailor some of these questions to the guests specifically from episode to episode. You said you technically consider yourself part of Philadelphia, grew up in Philadelphia, Northeast Philly. Very important cheesesteak question. Are you a Pat's or a Geno's cheesesteak man?
I have two fingers for Pat's and Geno's, one on each hand. The best place to go if you're going to be in the city is Jim's on South Street.
Jim's on South Street. That's Brian Caine's favorite cheesesteak. Pat's and Geno's. Get the double middle finger. Your favorite Philadelphia sports moment in your lifetime?
When Ron Hextall, the goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers, left his crease and met, what's his name? Patrick Waugh, R-O-Y, Waugh, at mid-ice for the best goalie fights in hockey history. Ron Hextall went, however long it is from his crease to center ice, he did that faster than any goalie has ever moved in history. And he clotheslined Patrick Waugh and took him out. And as a young, aggressive man in Philadelphia who loved a bit of hockey, who was also a soccer goalkeeper who loved to take out people's legs, Ron Hextall and Patrick Waugh fighting at center ice in a hockey game. Fighting in hockey is nonsense and it should not be allowed to happen, but that is a formative, it's a thing that sat in my brain and said, I'm from Philadelphia, I am aggressive, sports are mean, this is what I have to do.
Now help me out. I'm sure if I go on YouTube, I'll find Ron Hextall fights Patrick Waugh. But was this Montreal Canadiens Patrick Waugh or Colorado Avalanche Patrick Waugh?
Avalanche Patrick Waugh.
So it's a bit later. Avalanche. I thought you were going to go with Ron Hextall that becomes the first goalie to score a goal, and then you veered off into a very different direction. Wasn't expecting that one, Brian. Okay,
it's the Philadelphia aggression. It comes through sometimes.
That is a treat. Now, what honest Philadelphian would have said Ron Hextall scores a goal as a favorite? No, Ron Hextall starts a fight with
Patrick Waugh. Probably the best goalie in the league at the time, Patrick Waugh. But Hextall was just going to take him out.
All right, as somebody who spent some time in the acting world in New York, what is your favorite Broadway stage production? Musical or play, or off Broadway? What counts too? Anything in the vicinity of New York City stage production?
I am blanking on the name of it. It's an Edward Albee play where there are lizard people, and it is definitely my favorite non-musical that I've seen on a Broadway stage. I'm blanking on what it's called. I'll look it up. I'll find it later. But it's an Edward Albee play. He's the same author of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? And this is very like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, except in the second act, there are literal people in literal lizard costumes, and it's incredible. And it's sort of about, it's very absurdist. It's very about the nature of life and what does it mean to be a couple and what does it mean to relax and be on vacation and then be interrupted by giant lizard people.
Seascape,
absolutely. You're a genius. Did you look that up or do you know that?
I have to give credit to Google on that one.
Oh, that's incredible.
I looked up Edward Albee lizard people and Seascape popped up on the first several.
The most popular Don Nigro play, who's one of my favorite playwrights as well, is called Seascape with Sharks and Dancer, and I sometimes get them mixed up. But Don doesn't produce plays for Broadway. He's much more sort of the rung below that. My favorite musical I've ever seen is probably The Book of Mormon, because
I have not seen that. So when it came out, my mom and my brothers have all seen it, but it was impossible to get a ticket. Couldn't get a ticket.
I went pretty recently, actually. There were pandemic tickets for a couple bucks. We wore a mask and sat as far away from other people as we could.
I'm looking at this Seascape though. I've never heard of it before you mentioned it, but it says here it got the Pulitzer Prize in 1975, and it had in its original cast Frank Langella and Deborah Kerr, who I recognize. There's some other actors in there. So it was.
I think I saw Tyne Daly and Brian Dennehy, and it was who I saw. Brian Dennehy was very good.
Your favorite cricket ground experience that you've had as an umpire?
As an umpire, it's definitely some of the finals we've done at Baisley Pond Park in New York City. When you do the big finals and semifinals there, you get big crowds that come out. The entire Guyanese community of that area comes out to watch. There's cooking all day. There's music all day. The guys will park their van a few feet off of the field and just play the music out of that the whole day. Big presentations. It's very communal. It's very friendly. I like those quite a lot. In a non-umpiring sense, I'll give you the very standard answer of I've been to 2 test matches, but the first one I went to, I was at Edgbaston in the Hollies stand when James Anderson bowled out India on day 4 in 2018, and we spent the rest of the day playing gully cricket in the concourse of Edgbaston. And at some point, a young man took off his prosthetic leg, and that's what we batted with. That is the best cricket ground experience I've ever had. I wasn't an umpire, just a spectator, but that was the best cricket ground experience I've ever had.
Umpire experience was Baisley Pond.
Guyanese, big party, Baisley Pond.
Got to be specific. Baisley Pond, not Baisley Cage. Baisley
not the
Pond.
cage. No, the pond. The one in the middle.
Baisley Pond. Okay. And then not as an umpire, being able to use a prosthetic leg from some other spectator to bat with outside of Edgbaston.
It's a 10-year-old kid bowling, 10-year-old Indian kid bowling leg spin at me. I couldn't touch him. I could not touch him, even with the prosthetic leg.
Your favorite cricketer of all time?
My favorite cricketer of all time, and is it's an obvious one. There's lots of old spinners and like weird old dudes in the game who I would love to say are my favorite cricketer of all time, but it's really Alyssa Healy. Just above and beyond. Alyssa Healy is one of the most powerful players playing in the game today. I came up through the game as a wicketkeeper, and she was the most inspiring. She's the most inspiring women's keeper that I've seen. I like Sarah Taylor a lot, but Alyssa Healy to me has that next level of aggression that the Aussies like to show that I appreciate. She's a massive opening batter. She's incredible, and I named one of my rats after her. One of my rats is called Midge, named after Alyssa Healy.
I'm gonna have to tag her into this when I could chop this up, and I think she will be.
I have a little Elise Perry bag, but yeah.
Wait, show no. Hold it up again.
They don't have an Alyssa Healy bag, but I found this little on Etsy. I found this little Elise Perry bag, and I keep all of my counters, my umpire counters, in here.
So we got the Elise Perry bag, but Midge, the pet rat,
is my favorite player,
named after Alyssa Healy. So I'm sure Alyssa Healy, that may be the most unique honor she's had in her career. Somebody naming a pet rat after her. Oh, can't wait to see her reaction for that one.
The 3 of them are called Midge. One of them is called Birdie after Dickie Bird, the umpire. And then the other one is Francis, which is a Fran Drescher reference, which is a Final Word podcast reference.
I thought it was going to be about the nanny.
It's about the nanny. Yeah, she's from Queens. I do games in the Flushing Sheffield Shield, the Mr. Sheffield Shield out in Flushing. So Mr.
yeah,
Sheffield we have a good time.
Mr. Sheffield, yes.
That's an Adam Collins joke. I'll give it to him. But
now has Fran Drescher ever come out to any cricket matches at Corona Park?
She hasn't. We're working on it. We're going to make it happen.
There's still time.
There's still time. I did go to a synagogue once to give a presentation on the Holocaust in Brooklyn, where in the gents' toilets, they had a signed photo of Fran Drescher in, a state of like elegant undress, sort of, that's signed by her. And it's in the gents' toilets in the synagogue when I was doing a Holocaust education program. That was pretty shocking. I have pictures of it.
I'm not sure how to segue out of that. I'll just go on to the next question.
Next one.
Your favorite non-cricket athlete of all time, Brian?
This is also going to be out of left field, but his name is Joe Canning. He's a hurling player from Portumna in Galway. He was an incredible prodigy. His whole family plays for Portumna, and he came up as like a 16, 17-year-old, and he was the biggest guy in the competition, and he can hit points over the bar from 70, 80, 90 yards away like it's nothing. He can cut the ball off the sideline over the bar like it's nothing. And yeah, I watched him play. I was in Dublin in 2009, ostensibly trying to write my college thesis. I didn't drink at the time, so I wasn't on spring break. I was trying to write my college thesis, and I got to see him play in a college match, and it was the level above that he was in about 2009 was incredible. Joe Canning, Portumna and Galway, hurling player.
You are the first and maybe the only guest I will ever have on the show who will name a hurling player as their favorite non-cricket athlete. We're making history here. Brian Caine, the trailblazer in many, many ways of this podcast. Your favorite place to eat out on tour away from home?
There is only one answer to this question, and it is Five Guys, obviously, because it's the only place to get the best burger and the best fries no matter what town you're in. Forget about McDonald's and forget about Burger King, all this other fast food. If there's a Five Guys, we'll find ourselves there. I'm so sorry that I missed you in Texas because we're going to have to do that at some point.
Yeah, me and Nate Hayes, we had just come from the Five Guys and we saw you in the hotel lobby. And now that we know, next time we're going to make it happen right now. A follow-up question to that, 7A. There's 223 different ways you can make a Five Guys burger according to the sign when you go and order on the menu. What is your way? What do you put on your Five Guys burger?
Double American cheese, pickles, onions, lettuce, and barbecue sauce. That's my John.
You go for the little fries and just have them overflowing or
in the bag.
I've never ordered anything but a little. I don't even know what the other ones are called. Is it medium and large? It can't be. What is it?
I don't think I've ever gotten that much fries. Tall. I think I just get the regular.
Is it like tall or something? I don't know. Little's enough. Your favorite beverage?
I'm a hot tea man, and I did a project one time on the Twinings company from England, and I did a bunch of research into them. So I really enjoy buying different flavors of Twinings and trying them out, but I'm trying to explore a lot more loose tea, of which I don't know the brand names. So I'm a big tea and sugar and milk fan. So I go with the Twinings Earl Grey. It's probably my everyday favorite staple tea in the morning. Your
favorite pizza topping?
I'm a big fan actually of a white pizza. I went through a phase in about, I don't know, middle school or something where I could not stand pizza sauce. Something about it just really bothered me for a couple of years. And so I think I got really into white pizza around that. And just the garlic of it and the big clumps of cheese on the top, I'm all day. I'm into it.
Your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time is The Quiet Man. That was directed by John Ford. It's from 1954, starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. It's about an American boxer who moves back to his hometown in Ireland to get away from his troubles back in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, USA, where he grew up. It's a joke from the movie. My family has been watching this movie every single year around St. Paddy's Day for about 45 years at this point. My favorite scene from the movie is tattooed onto my body. And yeah, I have written college papers about it. So The Quiet Man. Maureen O'Hara, it's this beautiful movie. They basically brought 2 or 3 Hollywood people over and then just hired the town. This town, I've been to that town. By the way, I went to Ireland and I went to that town and I went to all the places and I touched all the stones and I ate dinner in all the places where they lived in the show. I wandered around the ruins of their fallen cottage in a town way out on the west coast of Galway. And yeah, it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful movie. Maureen O'Hara is absolutely stunning in it. It's the most acting John Wayne's ever done, except for the time he played Genghis Khan.
Your favorite show to binge watch when you've got time, Ryan, because your days are quite jam-packed with a lot of the things. But on the rare occasion, pandemic or no pandemic, when you do have some spare time, what's your go-to binge show?
I am a big fan of cartoons for big people. And for the last probably 5-6 years, it's been Bob's Burgers. I love the way that those people talk to each other and the way that they act as a family. I would have gotten up to hijinks like that those kids got up to. And I love that show. I love that show. It's about working class people who are sort of working hard to love each other the best they can. Makes you really happy.